India, an emerging market, an emerging power. But are the effects of this renaissance equally reaped by all Indians? Sadly, the answer is no. Inclusive growth remains a highly elusive concept in India. Balram Halwai, the son of a rickshaw puller, his family is too poor for him to be able to finish school. Despite being clever and being promised a scholarship, Balram instead is forced to break coals and white tables in a Dhanbad tea shop. Balram Halwai is the protagonist in Arvind Adhika's Booker Prize winner, The White Tiger. But this story is not just fiction. This story is lived at this time by millions of Indian youth. There are Balrams out there with fire in their bellies. All they need is some kind of financial assistance and security at the right stages in their career. And in this country, which is of late been an investor's destination, people to invest in a successful career shouldn't be hard to come by. Presenting to you a plan, Equity in Education, a humble attempt at offering a helping hand to such Balrams in India. So what is the opportunity that we see for EIE in India? Well, according to the UNESCO, India has got the lowest public expenditure on higher education per student in the world. So what happens? The number of people pursuing education at different stages is gradually reducing. The reasons? Obviously financial. So we have tried to outline how the attrition or the dropout happens at different stages in the education system in India. For example, in the primary education stage, you've got less than half of India's children between the age 6 and 14 going to school, whereas in secondary, fewer than 40% attend secondary schools, and when it comes to graduation, only 13% go for undergrad courses. So this is where we plan to intervene in the system. One might very well ask the question as to why the intervention at this point. Well, for one, we can identify candidates with a promising future at this point in time. Also, we can identify stakeholders who are willing to invest for a stake in the candidate's career at this point. So what is the concept of the idea called EIE? Well, if you look at the kind of schemes that you've got in India, it can be classified into three types. There are loans, there are scholarships, and there are company CSR initiatives. Loans involve government and students, scholarships involve government and students, and CSR involves private companies and the government. But there is something missing in all these schemes. A scheme that involves all three key stakeholders, that is the government, the students, and the private companies, is missing. So this is what we propose. EIE brings in all stakeholders who are ready to invest in the career of a student with a good track record. Each of them have something specific to get from the venture as well. So we've got the government getting something, student getting something, and the private companies as well getting something, and that is what we call as a EIE, or Equity in Education. Couple of salient features. It's an agency funded by a 50-50 partnership between the government and private companies. It invests in the education of aspiring students by paying their fee during undergraduate studies, and in turn takes a stake in their career. It offers a promised job for the selected candidates in the private companies. The students compulsorily work with the stakeholder companies for a minimum of 3 years. And during this period, repayment of academic expenses in the form of deduction from salary happens. An essential question that we need to answer is why equity in education? There are many loan schemes available for aspiring graduates in India. Why EIE then? These loan schemes require a collateral, whereas the biggest collateral with a student probably is his or her career. So these loan schemes do not offer security in terms of a job, whereas the student would have enough reasons to be concerned about an often unpredictable job market in India. So what do we have to offer to each of these stakeholders? From an economic perspective, education is a risk. For a student with minimal resources, capital comes at a high price. The lesser risky the asset is, the higher would hence be his propensity to invest. This de-risking of investment by offering a job, for sure, is one of the unique features which will lure students into taking up the scheme. Thus, the USP for students is de-risking of education. What about companies? For the companies in India, the attrition rates are around 10%. It would be a good investment if they have a lock-in from the employee side. Also, the student, since the option is less risky, is likely to accept a lower salary package upfront. Thus, the USP for companies is quality talent that stays on for a while. What about the other stakeholder, the government? The government of India has been spending money for several years through several schemes, but none of them have developed into a sustainable initiative. The proposed initiative offers us of elusive sustainability and also engages in a unique public-private partnership to help the cause of students. Thus, the USP for government is public-private partnership and sustainability. It would be worthwhile to mention about how we got to this idea. We, the proponents of this idea, have been lucky enough to study at a few of the most prestigious institutes in India. But even in those institutes, we have seen students often struggling financially. It occurred to us that a potential secure career itself is a collateral and hence should be capable of being mortgaged. Further thoughts on how this mortgaging can be effectively implemented guided us to this great idea. Why we? We have seen many of our friends pass through such a phase in life. Each of us have been beneficiaries of different government funded schemes at different levels and hence knows how these typically works. So what is the way ahead for us? We plan to sell the idea to the Ministry of Human Resource Development in India or any of the numerous organizations within it. We plan to simultaneously get IT companies at first on board. This should not be a big problem as the lock-in idea will appeal to them. In case of funding issues from the government can issue a mandate making the institutes where the candidates study substitute government as the partner. In a nutshell, this is what EIE has on offer. An initiative which pools money and builds a sustainable model around it to help in the education of deserving children. Today's children are tomorrow's citizens. Let India ensure a better tomorrow by educating its children. Thank you.